Labels create limitations if we let them. Labels create limitations if we let them. So I want you to think about some of the words, some of the labels that you have used to describe yourself. Maybe not out loud to somebody else, but in your own head. So some of mine over the course of my life have been uncool, uninvited, too much, demanding, selfish, bossy, intimidating, shy, timid, introverted. Those are just a few of the words that I've used to describe myself to myself and sometimes to other people. And the words that we use have power. The words that we use create our reality. And so it's really, really important, the types of words that we use to talk about and the type of words that we use when we think about ourselves. And we have a choice in any moment to shift that language, to shift those words and to shift our perception and to be something different than that limiting belief lets us be. And so several years ago, about 3.5 years ago, I was talking to my friend, maybe it's 2 years, whatever. I was talking to my friend Lori, and she asked me 2 questions and had me reach out to several people in my life, about a dozen people, and ask them these questions. And they were, what shows up when I do? What qualities do I bring into a room? So what shows up when I do and what qualities do I bring into a room? And so I went out and very awkwardly asked a bunch of people these questions. I just would call them up on the phone and ask them. That's what she had me do initially, which I was like, this is so awkward, but I did it. And then sometimes I sent them a text message or even I think maybe I sent 1 or 2 people an email. And I was truly shocked by the types of things that came back, which just goes to show you just how distorted our view of ourselves can be. And some of these words were a calming presence and an excited energy. Some of the other words that people used were grounded, real, uplifting, comforting, refreshing, courageous, disarming. When I heard the words like calming presence, I'm like, wait, me? Because again, we have this perception of who we are. And I'm like, no, I'm like a freaking tornado. Like calming presence. But the perception that some people had that I would bring this sense of calm and grounding into their lives was, again, not something that I was aware of because I carried in my head this perception of these other things that were true about who I was. So I want to challenge you as you start your week to really be mindful about how you see yourself and the words that you are using when you describe yourself and the ways that those words limit you. And you have a choice to flip them. Like imagine, think of all those words that I used in the front end of this video. And think of your version of them. What would happen if you were to completely flip those and to use the opposite of those words to describe yourself? Like what would change? We're going to be talking about more of this, digging into this about personality, because I'm reading a really great book I'm going to tell you about tomorrow about the topic. And so we're going to keep going into this. But I really want you to think about today. What qualities do you bring into a room and what shows up when you do? You might be surprised that those words are different than the limitations that you have in your head.